Hello students, good morning all of you. Welcome to our e-learning class. I hope all of you are healthy and safe in your home. Okay, so today let us discuss our economics, the paper Indian economy. Previous day I discussed the Indian economy on eve of independence and what was the impact of agriculture during British period. Okay, so today before discussing this today we just discuss your marks pattern. Okay, so okay, so in your part paper A or paper B, both macroeconomics and Indian economy, from both paper, the short questions for 1 marks for 1 mark question comes the 20 questions. Okay, for here mark for 1 mark, number of questions 20 for both paper, 10 from macroeconomics and 10 for Indian economy, and for 3 marks 4 question, 4 marks 6 question, and for 6 marks 4 question. Okay, so for 1 marks you can write this answer within 1 sentence. And for 3 marks question you have to write 60 to 80 words. For 4 marks 80 to 100 words, and for 6 marks around 150 words. Okay students, so note down these are. So today we focus on the impact on industrial sector. Okay, so what was the British impact on our industrial sector? So first we discuss before. Okay, so today's our topic impact on industrial sector during British period. So before British advent, our India was the world famous in handicraft industry. Okay, and but after British and when Britishers come, they want to exploit our handicraft industry. By how? There are some points there are. The first one is the two-fold objective. So So what is twofold objective? Twofold objective means from the first Britishers, their primary motive was to get raw material from India at cheaper price, and they bring the finished goods from Britain, and these finished goods used by the Indians to meet their needs. So that is the twofold objective. So India export export raw materials and import the finished good from Britain. So by this they Britishers exploited our handicraft industry, and also Britishers also use the discriminatory trade policy. Discriminatory trade policy, what is this? Under this process, okay, they use the free export of the raw materials from India and the free import of the finished good from Britain, and also they imposed heavy duty on our Indian handicraft. Because of this, the Indian local people, they could not use our local made products, because there was the very high rate and they can't afford it. Because of this, only these handicraft policies, handicraft products used by the Britishers for their luxuries. Okay, so the next point is the under the impact of industrial sector, the next point is adverse effect decline in handicraft industry. Okay, so what was the effect decline in handicraft industry? Okay, they are also there in under this there are 2 points. First one is the high level of unemployment. Okay, high level of unemployment. So first point is so why it is? Because the decline in handicraft industry this leads the high level of unemployment or unemployment on a small scale, and for this reason the many people they are shift to agriculture, and there was a overcrowded in agriculture. Okay, and the next is the import of finished good. Yes, during the British period, Britishers want that they taken the raw materials from India, and also by this raw material they made the finished product and manufacturing product, which they again they send to our country in India. So that's why this encourage the import of the finished good which are manufactured by the Britishers. So the next under this there was another effect, import of finished goods. Okay, now come to the next point. That one is the lack of capital goods industry. So in the during the British period there was hardly the capital goods industry for the industrialization in India. So which are the capital goods? Capital goods means the machineries, tools which are we used to manufacturing other goods. So the next important point is the lack of capital good industries. Okay, so because of that reason, the India's there was no industrialization in India, or there was a very slow rate in the industrialization in India, and the Britisher, they did nothing to do any improvement to the industrialization in India. But also there are in the second half of the 19th century, the some modern industrial started, but the growth rate of this modern industry was very slow, and only specifically some industries was there. These are the cotton textile, as in the Maharashtra and Gujarat, and also jute mill was in Bengal. So the industrial growth rate was very slow during the British period. And the earlier 20th century, iron and steel industry, they also came. TISCO came in 1907. Okay, and some others industry also introduced. These were the sugar, cement. Okay, this industry also introduced in during the British period, but the growth rate of these industries was very slow. And come to the next point, low contribution to GDP. Okay, so because of the deindustrialization or the slow rate of the industries or growth rate of the slow growth rate of the industries, there was the income was the very slow. That's why the GDP, that means gross domestic product, was the very small. Okay, that's why our industrial economy or the industrial sector leads to backward. Now we come to the also there are some only specifically some industries, they are under the public sector. So the next is the limited role of public sector. Limited role of public sector. Some few industries like railways, power generation, okay, then communication, telegraph, ports, only these are under the public sector. But other industries, they not they also under the private sector. Because of this reason, these industries are underdeveloped or not developed by the public sector. Okay, so these are the main reason to decline in our handicraft industry or the deindustrializations. Okay, so also student, I also discuss this, but side by side also you go through your books. Okay, in your books, NCERT books, there written all these things are. Now we the next impact on Indian foreign trade. Okay, before the British rule, India was known as the world famous exporter. Okay, and India export there the textile or handicraft to all over India, such as cotton, fine cotton, textile, iron goods, wooden goods, and precious stones. Okay, but During the British rules, and Britishers converted India to next exporter of the raw materials and importer of the finished goods. So this is also the one backwardness of the our Indian foreign trade. So first one is the exporter of primary goods and importer of finished goods. So already I discussed this one, that the Britishers, they want to get the primary products or raw materials from India at the cheaper rate, and they by this raw materials they made the finished product in their home country, and they also this finished products they import to India and at a very cheaper rates. That's why the Indian people they buy this finished product from Britishers. Okay, so this is one is the our backwardness of our Indian economy in foreign trade, the exporter of primary goods, the importer of the finished goods, and the India export raw materials such as the raw cotton, indigo, jute. These are okay. Now the next is the very important point. There was the monopoly control over the India. Okay, Britishers had the monopoly control over the India. So the next one, monopoly control of Indian foreign trade. Okay, so students, Britishers had the monopoly control of all over the India or India's foreign trade. Okay, and there was the actually from the first Britishers come in India, their motive was for the business purpose. Okay, and after this they control all over the India on the export and import, both of these things. But they also use the from their United States from the Africa. After then from they use the from Africa to India, they enter India from Africa. Okay, but after the opening of the Suez Canal, this is very important thing, Suez Canal. After the opening of the Suez Canal by the Egypt government, they use the this way for the export or import. Okay, so this Suez Canal built in 1859 and this was completed in 1869. Okay, and this way used by the Britishers, and this way also they reduces the distance and also reduces the times for the trading between the India and the Britain. That's why easily available for Britishers the Indian raw material at cheaper rate, and also they use this way for the trading. And the 50% of the trade restricted to the Britishers, and rest of the others rest of the other trades occur with the China, Sri Lanka and Iran, and Sri Lanka that time was known as the Singhal. Okay, so this is the one point, monopoly control over the Indian point. For this reason our handicraft industry also declined, and the handicraft industry they also decline in the domestic market as well as in export market. So come to the next point. Drain of export surplus during British rule. Okay, so as we all of you know, the due to discriminatory tariff policy, India became exporter of the raw materials and importer of the finished good. But this leads to generate the export surplus, and this fund are used by the British government. This fund is not used to improvement of the future growth of the Indian economy, and this surplus they use for their Britishers, they use this surplus for their luxuries. Okay students, now this also the main reason which leads to backward our Indian economic or the our industrial sector. Now this is the completed. So we already discussed the impact of the industrial sector, impact on the agriculture sector during British rule, and this one is the impact on the Indian foreign trade during British period. Now the next is very important, is the demographic condition. Okay, so now the demographic condition. What is the demographic condition? Demographic condition means the various aspect of population. That means the death rate, birth rate, infant mortality rate, literacy rate, and the life expectancy. These are also related with the these things are also related with population, and these all over things are included in the demographic condition. So this is the term demographic condition. So what is the term demographic condition? That means the various aspect of population. Okay, so during the British period, demographic condition of India was very bad. Why? Because in 1921, before the 1921, in India there was the high death rate and high birth rate. Okay, and after the 1921, year of 1921, this year known as the year of Great Divide. This one is very important thing. Note down this one. The after 1921 known as the year of great divide, and this type of question will come for your 1 marks question. So the year of Great Divide. Why 1921 known as the year of Great Divide? Because after these were before this year, before the 1921, and there was the no stable population. That means high growth rate, high birth rate and high death rate. But after 1921 and in the 1921 there was in India there was the considerable and continuous the increase in population. Okay, so in demographic condition in India, when we discuss about the two stages. There are the stages, some stages. So in first stage in India, in first stage in India, demographic condition was the high death rate, high birth rate, and also high death rate. So what is the birth rate? So first let me discuss the birth rate. So the term birth rate define this that the number of children born or birth per thousand in a year. This is called the birth rate. That means in a year, as a proportion of the thousand children, how much children was born. So birth rate defines the number of children born per thousand in year. And what is the death rate? Death rate means the number of person dying per thousand in year. So this is the birth rate and death rate. So in the first stage in demographic condition before 1921, the birth rate was 48 per thousand. Okay, and the death rate was 40 per thousand, which was very high because there is the lack of medical facilities, poor medical condition, and the poor their scarcity of foods, and the which leads famines. For this reason, in the before the 1921 there was the high birth rate and high death rate. And according to 2016, the death rate is 7 per thousand. This one is death rate. According to 2016. Okay, and the birth rate is 19 per thousand. These informations according to 2016. Now we discuss the second stage. Okay, in the demographic condition, second stage. Okay, this stage define the high birth rate, okay, and low death rate. This is the second stage because they are introduced some technologies in the medical science. They introduce the they apply the modern medicines, and the increasing the number of hospitals. That's why the death rate was decreasing, and the birth rate also there that time was the high. This is called the second stage. Okay, now we discuss about the next in the third stage. Okay, in the third stage, okay, the population growth was the high, that's why the government also they want to control over the India's population. So in the third stage, the death rates and the birth rates, also the death rates low, but the birth rate was the moderate or decreasing. Okay, so this was the third stage. Now about the next point, the literacy rate. So first, what is literacy rate? So literacy rate means the one person who can write, read and speak in any language or in one language. This is called the literacy rate. Okay, so this literacy rate during the British period, there was the literacy rate was less than 16%. Okay, so less than 16%. So out of 100%, less than 16 people they was the literate. And most important thing, this is the total population, which is the less than 16 are illiterate, and out of this, okay, the female literacy rate was 7%. That means out of 100, 7 female they know either read or write or speak in any language. Okay, so this is called the literacy rate. Okay, and current according to 2019, today's literacy rate is 69.1%. And in India, Tripura is the high, the literacy rate is the highest in Tripura and lowest in Bihar. Okay, now we come to the next point, low life expectancy. Okay, so first, what is the life expectancy? Life expectancy means the average period that a person may expect to live. This is called the life expectancy rate. So the next point is the life expectancy So what is this? This means the average period that a person may expect to live. And that time, because of the poor health condition, because of the poor nutrition, lack of nutrition, and the lack of the medicines and the hospitalities, for this lack of hospitals, for these are that time in India the life expectancy was the 44 years. That means the average age of the person 44 years. Okay, and these conditions because of the scarcity of food, the continuous famine, and also there is the poor health facilities, which lead to low rate of life expectancy. And today's life expectancy in current data is the 68 years. So this was the life expectancy during British period and in under the demographic condition. Now the next point is the high infant mortality rate. So what is the infant mortality rate? Infant mortality rate means the number of children that die before the before the age of 1 year as a proportion of 1000 live children born in a year. This is called the infant mortality rate. So our next point is the high infant mortality rate. Okay, so that time the India's infant mortality rate was very high due to the immunization, poor health condition, lack of the nutritious food. That's why out of the 1000 children, the death rate was the 218 children. Okay, so this one was the very high infant mortality rate. Okay, now the next and last point under the demographic condition, high level of poverty. High level of poverty, okay, you know the decline in the agriculture sector, for decline in the industrial sector, and there is the high level of the unemployment level. Because of this reason and high high the death rate, high birth rate, and also the scarcity of food, the lack of the health facilities. Because of this reason in India there was that time the high poverty level was very high. Okay, so all these conditions which also lead our demographic very bad impact on our demographic condition. So during British rule, these also the demographic condition also was the very bad. Okay students, so there are the 3 or 2 more points, that the occupational structure and social and economic infrastructure, which I discuss in the next class. Okay, so for today, okay, after this obviously you go through your book yourself. Okay, and if you have faced any problem when you read this chapter, you contact me, which number is already given on your TV screen. So student, so for today we learn up to this. Okay, the next class we will continue the obviously this chapter we have only 2 or 3 points. Next class we completed our this chapter. Okay, so for today students, thank you.